Give the Dragon Ball community some credit. They're definitely very creative when it comes to ideas, even if creativity can definitely be stretched, and this video itself is a perfect example of such stretching, because this is a topic that Dragon Ball fans have been talking about for decades, and we're going to discuss it today. And this is even prior to the existence of Dragon Ball Super and everything that we have seen. This, of course, is the concept of Gogeta. Now, what exactly is Gogeta? Well, you can probably guess by the naming of it. That is, it is a fusion between Vegito and Gogeta. And the first thing that you're probably wondering is, well, how would this fusion ever possibly exist in Dragon Ball? Well, there's really only one way, and there are other ways that you can kind of try to squeeze and force into the plot, but the most realistic and standard way of accomplishing such a fusion would be using time travel, because for Gogeta to exist, you would need 4 Gokus and 4 Vegetas, in total of course, so you would need 2 pairs. And that would mean, in all likelihood, that you would have to have a Goku and a Vegeta from the main timeline, which would obviously create one version of the fusions. Most notably, it would be Gogeta in the main timeline, because the Goku and Vegeta from the main timeline are the Goku and Vegeta that have learned how to actually do the fusion dance in the canonical direction that Dragon Ball Super is going in, as we saw in Dragon Ball Super Broly, because prior to this, Goku and Vegeta had only canonically fused together using Vegito twice in the Zamasu arc, and then obviously before during the Buu arc, because we're not going to count the fusion of Gogeta in Fusion Reborn. So with that said, now, what timeline would it be? Well, clearly there are 7 major timelines of Dragon Ball, and I'm not going to turn this into a 2-hour timeline explanation because I would have to really do that to go more in depth about this. But if our heroes somehow found a way to go to the stolen timeline, and I'm using that as kind of like an easy catchphrase of saying the timeline where Zamasu stole Goku's body and killed Goten and Chi-Chi. And the reason why this would be the best timeline if our heroes could somehow access this timeline would be because of the fact that this is a timeline where our characters are relatively similar up until a certain point of the main timeline, where the branch is that Zamasu comes in and takes Goku's body, whereas in the timeline that we have, that didn't happen because the timeline obviously diverged. And also remember that the stolen timeline is just me trying to be creative and give another version of Goku and Vegeta, because the simplest solution would just be to go further back in time of the main timeline itself. And as a result of it, that is the closest timeline to the one that we have, because in all of the other ones, like the original timeline, the History of Trunks timeline, the Unseen timeline, and we can go on and so forth, those timelines went in such a totally different direction that Goku and Vegeta wouldn't even know what fusion was. So as a result of that, and also considering the fact that Goku and Vegeta are dead in different timelines, this would be the best chance of actually doing it. And ultimately, this would probably be the strongest character in Dragon Ball history outside of Zeno, the Angels, and we don't know how strong Zeno's guards are, but it's possible that he might be able to surpass them too, because, I mean, if you're fusing 4 Goku and Vegetas, and you're also tagging on how powerful they've gotten lately, it's unlikely that anybody could be this strong. I mean, you're talking about like a double fusion, which is the silliest idea for a fusion ever, but the fan base can dream.